Hello everybody, it's me, Beau. We are broadcasting live this September 12th. It is 4:37 p.m. in the afternoon, Pacific Standard Time in the beautiful state of Washington. Where are you tuning in from? I'd love to hear. I have a wonderful show for you guys. Today I have the top 10 products that people are scrambling to buy for some strange reason. Maybe you might want to buy some of these. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're just wondering what in the world is popular out there. It makes absolutely no sense. Now, of course, you could go to a site that is designed to sell you things. And of course, you can watch a commercial. But my live broadcast is not about that. I am not compensated by any of these companies to be pushing out or peddling any of these things on you. I'm simply presenting to you guys the metrics based off of what reviews I have produced and what of those reviews are getting the most traction, the most views for some strange reason. And I leave it up to you guys, my materialistic minions, to go out and click on some of these and see if in fact the prices have plummeted on some of these, which is why maybe some people are buying generators all of a sudden, or maybe some people are buying these assault stationary bikes for some strange reason. Who knows? There are economists out there much smarter than I am. All I see is the numbers that my videos are gaining. And I have produced thousands, I repeat, thousands of video reviews out there. You can look all over my YouTube channel. I have over 22,000 subscribers over on my YouTube channel, and right here I have over 2,100 followers, which I greatly appreciate you guys for doing that because that boosts the algorithm. And then Amazon says, hey, good job, Beau. And then I get a nice little kickback from them. Actually, I don't. They're fake internet points. I told my wife I have yet to find out what I do with these fake internet points. I've tried to go to QFC and Safeway and said, please, I'd like to buy some cheese and bread with my fake internet points. And then they just kick me out. So I have to shoplift instead. Just kidding. Thievery and crime is not a laughing matter. So today we are going to be hopping right into our show. It's going to be short, it's going to be sweet, and it's going to be packed full of valuable information. And hopefully you guys can keep up as fast as I talk. But first, let's roll the bumper. That just makes me so happy when we do that. Okay, hey, we're gonna first of all talk about these tactical hair clips right here because yes, I do have a promo code that is exclusive to this broadcast only. It is 10% off these tactical multi-tool hair clips. Yes, you heard that right. Speaking of, I got a haircut today. Do you like it? Remember, you only have one opportunity to compliment someone's new haircut. After that, it's just awkward. Believe me, I've seen someone and like 3 or 4 times later, I'm like, hey, you got a new haircut. I'm like, yeah, Beau, we work together. Well, okay, that's the last time I acknowledge a new haircut, but you may acknowledge mine, but it's not about me, it's about you and tactical hair clips. So yes, you heard that correctly. These are tactical hair clips, and they basically turn you into MacGyver, depending on your level of creativity. Some people are not very creative. You could give them a spoon and they'll start to dig a hole out in the yard. It's like, no, honey, this is designed for eating cereal. But most of you do have a head on your shoulders, which is why these tactical hair clips are designed for those like you. And so they come in a myriad of colors. Myriad, that's a nice word. And so let's see, I only have the black tactical hair clips highlighted in my carousel down below right now. And if I were to hit that one, you see the blonde version. So if you have a beautiful blonde in your life, because I say that because I'm married to one, then you can get her blonde tactical hair clips, whether it's for her birthday, for your anniversary, or for a wonderful stocking stuffer coming up. Remember, it is September, mid-September. Wouldn't it be nice to actually be ahead of Christmas shopping this year? Do you know what I do? I have a giant empty Amazon box, and starting now, I basically accumulate easy to find deals and just throw it in there. And then by the time, I usually have a list as well so that I'm not doubling up on someone I didn't realize what I threw in the box. And then by the time Christmas comes, I'm not one of those people scrambling around. Like, hey, I already bought some tactical hair clips for everybody because Beau had a 10% off coupon code, and tactical hair clips never have 10% off coupon codes. And if you have one of those punk rockers in your life, we also are presenting these iridescent cyberpunk tactical hair clips. And yes, these are kind of the version that if you sort of wave in front of the light like this, they kind of have this oil slick chameleon type look, almost something like the Joker, those kind of colors. It's so wicked and so cool. And so, yeah, these tactical hair clips can be used for all sorts of wonderful things. Opening up your Amazon boxes, for example. I have been in situations where I've had my pocket knife in my pocket because I am a prepared person. And I have gone to a birthday party and someone has said, hey, I need a pocket knife to open up a package. And my niece is there. And do you know what? She beats me to the punch and she pulls out of her hair very safely. Of course, it doesn't yank out the hair. It's just like a conventional snap hair clip. The only difference is that there is a raptor claw tip built into this. So my niece presents it to the person asking for a way to open up the box before I can even pull my pocket knife out. Right? My heart just swelled with pride when she presented her tactical hair clips ahead of her crazy uncle and his pocket knife. But yeah, I'm one of those guys. Please use my pocket knife. So those are tactical hair clips. Pretty darn cool. But that's the only promo code today because we're actually going to be talking about things that I didn't even know as of 24 hours ago that these are suddenly top sellers. I don't know, but I get these metrics and I present them to you. So let's make little Beau. There's the little Beau. That's what I mean by little Beau. By the way, I have no idea why these automatic subtitles aren't actually translating correctly. Little Beau. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just going to say B-O. It's B-E-A-U. As a matter of fact, if I were to say Beau Chevisu, I'm pretty sure it's going to look like Beau. Yeah, Chevy Sue. Chevy Sue. It's okay. I don't fault Google for translating these things. Look, that even says Behu. Who in the world? That's not even a word. B-E-U-H? That's silly beans. Okay, hey, let's hop into. But wait. I was given. Oh, this is so much fun. Okay. No. We're not going to hop into the drone quite yet. We're going to land the plane on these tactical hair clips because there's an epic video procured from the original Kickstarter that was over 1,200% backed for these black tactical hair clips right here that I have in my hot and sweaty little hands. Okay, you guys want to see this epic promo? Okay, of course you do. 3, 2, 1, roll it. Isn't that just so darn epic? If you ever thought that it was impossible to make a hair clip look epic, it's now possible. Yeah, these tactical hair clips are essentially multi-tools that you yourself can now do all sorts of things that you saw in that video. Matter of fact, a buddy of mine actually turned one of these hair clips, he magnetized it and he set it on a leaf that was floating and it effectively turned it into a compass. Because it pointed to magnetic north. Right? That's quite innovative, right? So, man, these things are just cool. Anyway, I don't want to gush too much about hair clips. I just wanted to show you that really epic video. Now we can move on to a drone. Now, I always regret saying drone because drone sounds so militant, and I've been all over the world to produce film for nonprofits, missionaries, churches all over the world. Been in some of the roughest war-torn countries in the world. And I've been able to get my drone in. Not that it's illegal, but let's just say I have connections. So, except for Dubai. They confiscated my drone. They were ahead of me. Yeah, darn. But that's okay. When I went through the airport with my drone, this exact drone right here, the DJI Mini 3 Pro, I had stripped it of all its parts. So I think they kind of recognized that, yeah, we're not going to be able to get anything off the street for this thing. It's just a piece of plastic. So when I left Dubai 24 hours later, because it was a long layover, I simply went back to customs and I said, hey, I'm here to pick up my drone. And they're like, oh, and they slowly shuffled back, got was left of my drone, came back, gave it to me, and then I put it back together once I got to my final destination. All sorts of fun stories I have to tell. But let's talk about this drone, shall we? Okay. Oh, this is actually an unboxing therapy. Oh, now, in case you don't know, by the way, that's a merino wool shirt. I love that shirt. It's now winter season, and I was wearing this exact jumper, only in red. And okay, so back to the drone. I get really excited about these things. So this is a beautiful real estate shot. Look at how buttery smooth this thing is. So the cool thing about these drones is that they are so smart now that they basically fly themselves. I know that really makes the government very concerned. Like, great, now we have all these autonomous drones flying around destroying people. That's not what I mean. What I mean is there are sensors and sonar built all around this drone that you can start to fly this thing into a tree or the side of a building and it will stop. Yeah. So when I'm out on doing my real estate videography gigs all around Washington State, the number one question that I have from people when they see me flying this exact drone is, how much did it cost? And is it difficult to control? The how much does it cost is fairly easy. It's right there. Matter of fact, that looks cheaper than before. I think that's cheaper than what I bought this for. Darn you, DJI. Man, I should have waited. Anyway, number two, is it difficult to control? Because most people are coming into droning, if that's even an adjective, a verb rather, and they say to themselves, well, so a drone is something that I've tried to do purchasing a really cheap $150 drone off of Amazon. And those are difficult to control, incredibly difficult. And I say this as a professional videographer, a filmmaker who absolutely loves equipment and all sorts of fun little gadgets like this. And those little cheap drones are impossible. If you haven't crashed it and ruined it already, you probably might as well just throw it in the garbage, because you're going to crash it at some point and it will just be obliterated. Or a gust of wind is going to come up and it's just going to take off. So this thing right here has an automatic homing. So when it starts to run low on batteries, it comes back to exactly where you took off, which more often than not, you probably took off in a safe place. Just going to assume that right there. I've taken off in some not safe places and I've really regretted it doing this automatic come to home type thing. Matter of fact, would you like to hear a story about that? Of course you want to hear a story about that. So there we were in Tijuana. I was filming 2 different houses that these veterans were building for poor people, and they were doing it through YWAM, which is an awesome organization. And so I was there with a drone and I wanted to connect the 2 houses, because in the film world, in videography, setting the context is very important. That is, like, setting where you're at. Otherwise, the audience is very confused at the beginning of the film. So usually you'll notice in film, they start with a wide shot. Like, this is where we're at. They've set the context. And then they go into the individual characters and they talk about the balance, unbalance, the quest, the climax, and then the rebalance, and all the elements of the stories that a filmmaker weaves into his or her film. In this particular case, I wanted to show how close the 2 build sites were with this exact drone. And so I thought, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take off. We're going to film this right here, and then we're going to shoot right over the hill, because it was on the other side of this mountain there in Tijuana. And then we'll be able to do like a fast forward thing, like a whoop, and fast forward, and the audience will see, whoa, they're right next to each other. And maybe even the story could be about a friendly rivalry, about who builds their house fastest. You know what I mean? Really just kind of tease that out of the story and have fun with it. So I popped the drone up there in the outskirts of Tijuana, and I filmed it, and we start to go to the other side of the mountain. My buddy is there and he's like, hey, you might lose signal, because he's a really smart guy when it comes to drone stuff. I said, well, let's hop into the car and follow it. You see where this is going, right? Yeah. So we're in the car and I'm in the passenger seat and we are just bouncing along these roads in this white unmarked SUV. and and so we get to the other site and there's the drone and I connect the two locations. Everybody's happy. And then guess what happens? The drone goes beep, 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 beep. Low battery warning. And you know what that means? As I just said, when there's a low battery warning, it goes back to where it took off. I was standing right next to it, trying to cancel the return to home. Like, no, land here. I'm right in front of it. And it just went, and it started going back to the other build site, which you may think, well, that's no problem. The thing is, in certain developing countries, they have a lot of power lines everywhere. And when I took off with this thing, I kind of went up and went around some power lines to get up because in some of these places, it looks like a bird's nest. If you've ever been to a developing country, the power lines are legit scary. It's like a cobweb above some of these houses. And immediately I'm thinking, my thought bubble is, I'm going to take down the power grid in Tijuana with my tiny little 249 gram drone. Probably won't happen, but immediately I said, Aaron, my buddy who was driving me, it's like, get in the car. So there we were getting into the car. And then as the drone's going back, it loses signal because now it's on the opposite side of the mountain. So we're bouncing along the back roads of Tijuana, bouncing along these potholes, going around chihuahuas and this little boy in the street, like, look out, child. Don't worry, we weren't that reckless, but it was very dramatic. And I really wanted to know what my drone was doing at that exact moment. Was it like being fried in among a bunch of power lines? And so we pull up to the spot where I took off, screech to a halt. I jump out and there's my drone trying to land, but it was smart enough because it's got sonar sensors on the bottom. It was smart enough to know that there was an obstacle underneath it, which was this power line, like hundreds of power lines. And so I took out, and then at that point I was reconnected and I was able to cancel the automatic landing and I was able to meander and navigate this drone around these wires until I landed it. And then I picked it up, got back in the car, and we took off down the road. And to this day, I wonder, because there were lots of neighborhood children standing around there, looking up like this at this drone floating above their houses. And here come two white guys in an unmarked SUV, screeching up right there, quickly landing a drone, picking it up, hopping into the car, and taking off down the road. And to this day, I wonder if they thought the CIA was in their neighborhood. So there's my story. I've got all sorts of eccentric stories about all of this equipment that I've tested all around the world. But this drone right here is smarter than I am. And thank goodness it had sonar on the bottom. Otherwise, it would have crashed like I have crashed many other drones before this model that didn't have this ability to stop when it sensed something. So this will pay itself off many times over. Because it's just smart. It's just absolutely brilliant. So there you go. At another time, I'll tell you about the time where we legitimately crashed a drone in Phnom Penh in Cambodia. And that one we had to crawl on top of houses and people were yelling at us. I promise you, I'm not that reckless. I've flown a drone thousands of times, but in some countries, it just gets a little fun. It does. Yeah. So if you want to hear about Cambodia, drop me something in the comments down below because this is live and I can hear, or rather see, all the chat stuff right here. All right, everybody. You guys probably want to know what's up with the weather. Now you can do that instead of tuning into the local news and slogging through all their sensationalism and advertising. Did I just say that? Oh, I just said that. Oh boy, I know. They're a business. Their goal is to try to get views because when they get views, they get advertisers. And when they get advertisers, they make money. That de-escalated really quickly. But the point that I'm trying to make is if you tune in to the news just to get the weather, now you can get the weather using this guy right here. Now, of course, it does give you instant readouts. And here I am actually in Wenatchee, Washington, where it was very, very snowy that winter. And you can see that this is the sensor that you can put anywhere outside. I would recommend putting it probably underneath the shade so it's not in direct sunlight. And matter of fact, local real estate broker has something like this as well. Todd, if you're listening to this, I think you have this exact model. You were showing me this at your office. So this is me demonstrating this thing, and there's all sorts of bells and whistles, and it's kind of nice as you're sitting there sipping your morning coffee, you glance over and you know exactly what temperature it is, and you can keep the TV and the radio off. You're welcome. And consequently, you're probably more informed having the news turned off. Oh, did I just say that? I did just say that. Oh boy, I'm going to ruffle all the feathers over at Como News here in Seattle. Sorry guys. I know I've produced commercials and films for you guys, but I'm just calling it how it is. You got to sensationalize things to get views and clicks. But not in this particular instance, because I'm just giving you guys good old-fashioned information. And if I am going to sensationalize anything, I'm going to tell you first. Okay? Now, this next product right here is absolutely life-changing. That's a fine example of me sensationalizing something, because it's not life-changing, but it's still pretty cool.
This little power...
Oh boy, it's going to start me talking off right there. I went ahead and muted myself. Can't have too many bows going, can we? So this fantastic little device right here is wonderful for events if, in fact, you have bar mitzvahs, birthdays, karaoke, or weddings. Or none of the above, and you just like to wheel around a cool little portable speaker like this that can connect via Bluetooth to your smartphone. Or you can manually put in a 3.5 millimeter auxiliary jack into this as well. So my good friends over at Take Back Your Life, which is a fantastic fitness facility here in my little town of Enumclaw, Washington, I was over there working out, and you can actually see the little kid right there. She's just chilling because she was like, what in the world is this strange man doing filming our Rock Blocker Plus? She was really easygoing though. They knew that I was working out, and I went over and I said, hey, this is a really cool speaker. Do you mind if I tell people that a professional workout facility actually uses this speaker? And they're like, oh yeah, absolutely. I gave them a few extra bucks actually too, because I had a feeling that if in fact you guys click on this speaker, if you guys want epic karaoke, then when you do click on any of these items below and buy them, I get a little bit of a kickback. And I use that to go out and buy groceries for my wife. And maybe sometimes a flower for her, if she's nice. No, I love her dearly. Okay, so anyway, this thing is incredibly good battery life. They actually had it the entire time, wheeling it around, rocking out, and I can't actually show you the music because it's this country music. And A, country music is horrible, and B, it's copywritten. And I am live streaming over to my YouTube channel right now. And YouTube, oh, they're nasty when it comes to copyrights. They will slap my little hipster wrist and say, how dare you play copyright written music, you thief, you. And so I have to actually mute this. Plus, if I did play it, it wouldn't sound good anyway, because I'm filming this on my iPhone. And as you well know, I mean, have you ever heard someone's footage and seen someone's video from a concert and it actually sounded good? It never sounds good. It really, there in real life, it sounds epic, but from their perspective, it just sounds horrible. So that's another reason why, but believe me, it sounds good. All right, let's move on to Fleas. Okay, all right. This is what makes this live broadcast unique, because ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now that this flea stuff does not work very well. And I'm going to show you 2 attempts of me attempting to get this this stuff procured and put on the back of my cats. That's Strawberry right there. She's a funny little personality. Matter of fact, fun story time. My daughter came into our room last night. She was like, Dad, Polly brought in a frog again. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I don't want to go back in my room. She brought a frog in. So can you imagine laying there and all of a sudden you roll over, you open your eyes, and there's a frog, a live frog, right? So I feel so bad for my daughter, because our cats, they have sweet little personalities, and they care for our daughters as if they are their own kittens. And so they bring them things that they would bring a kitten, like a frog. Hey, you can play with this. And Penny, of course, is a human And she's like, I don't want to play with this frog. So poor Polly, I had to pick up the frog and release it back outside. I think the frog came out because it had rained, which is kind of nice in the Pacific Northwest because we're dealing with all sorts of forest fires. So anyway, back to creatures that have to do with your cats. Fleas right here. Let's go ahead and play this thing. So this topical flea medicine is known to be, it's got all these reviews, and I tested this Advantage stuff. I also tested, so basically you put it on the back of their necks right here.
Hello everybody, it's me, Beau.
This other one, this is from Frontline, and there's Lippy. Lippy's a big boy. Yeah, he's kind of a chub. Yeah, we call him Lippy because he's got a little discoloration. He's pretty much all black on his face except for a little white right above his lip. So we call him Lippy. Yeah, he's a sweet big boy. So anyway, he had fleas too because they're indoor-outdoor cats. I don't fault them too much for that. And I put this on the back of his neck, and within a month, he still had fleas. Now, I know, it's like, well, Beau, you're supposed to put it on multiple times. Well, finally, we got the Frontline stuff, got the Advantage stuff. I tried all of these things, and then we got this collar right here. That is in the description below, this carousel. Yeah, we got 2 collars for, well, you can see the price right there. It's pretty ridiculous. At first, I thought, not going to do this. My cats aren't worth this price. And then you look at their little faces, and of course, they're absolutely worth it. So ever since we got these flea collars, the fleas are gone. Took about 2 weeks. And I have been treating them all summer with this stuff right here, according to the directions. So, I'm sorry to say, but your little felines will need this flea collar right here. And it's no wonder they charge so much for it, because it actually works. I went the economic route, and I got all of these topical little squeezy things like what you're seeing right there, and they just didn't work. We didn't bathe them. Basically, well, okay, we do bathe them, but we didn't bathe them after this treatment. Look at his sweet little face. And we thought for sure that, whoa, there goes his bummy. Oh, he just loves those scratches. Yeah, he's a nice, sweet big boy. Oh, and there's an automatic pet feeder, which I reviewed yesterday. I told you all about the ins and outs, the things that I like and the things that I don't like about these things. But that's for another live review day. Right now, I'm just trying to tell you what works for us, and hopefully it works for you. And that is this Seresto flea and tick collar is an absolute godsend. And we should have just splurged right off the bat, saved the money with not getting all the topical. We tried oral treatment as well. And cats don't take oral treatment unless you like get them in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu headlock and open up their mouth and their little fangs are going everywhere and they just turn into these little demons. It's just very unpleasant to stick any kind of medication down a cat's throat, even though it is for their own good. And so this is a much more easy and passive way to get rid of fleas using this collar. Amazing, huh? Hey, it's almost ski season, isn't it? Well, let me tell you about this yurt that we were at. I know this is so random, but again, these are just the top most selling products for some really weird reason.
Hey guys, we're in a yurt. Check out this fantastic water dispenser. We just made hot chocolate out of it.
This little water dispenser was so darn cool I had to make a video of it. So yes, we got hot chocolate out of this thing. You'll see that the hot water is dispensed by kind of sliding that switch to the side, and that's to kind of just prevent little kids from just coming up and pushing that down, getting hot water coming out of there. And of course you can get regular temperature and cold water as well. And of course you got a little tray, and let's take a look at the inside, shall we? So this is where all the clean, fresh water goes. You just put that little contraption on, goes through the tube up there. You do have to plug this in, of course. You do actually need electricity, so you can kind of see back here, it's just plugged in nicely right there. As for whether or not you want to have cold or hot, there are little rocker switches on the back, so you can completely turn off the hot water, for example, if you wanted to do that for some strange reason. But overall, it's user-friendly, perfect for consumers, it looks fine, and the water tastes delicious. So funny thing about this, I sometimes see these things out in the wild, and I'm impressed with them, because what's neat about these objects, these products that you would normally get on Amazon, is that you're inundated with these commercials from the companies promising that this is the latest and greatest thing. And it is within the best interest of these marketing companies to gush about these things, and you don't really know if they actually work or not. And then you go out into the wild and you see customers actually engaging with it. I wish that's what they would do with commercials. They say, you know what, guys, let's just set up a camera. I mean, get people's permission, obviously, so we're not totally creepo, but let's just show people using our product. I would so buy a product if I actually saw the authenticity behind the customers, including what they don't like about it. I'd probably be more apt to buy a product if they were just upfront instead of like, this is the greatest thing ever. So that's my personal opinion. And I think personally, that's why things are going in the direction of live broadcasting like this, because there's no edits and there's no quick cuts. If I let something slip about this Beau water dispenser that I don't like, I can't edit that out. It's out there in the airwaves, which on one hand kind of gives me a little anxiety. But that's okay, because that's why I only choose the best products that rarely have anything wrong with them. Unless, of course, they're like that cat flea medicine that I previously mentioned. I was very disappointed about that. But wouldn't you much rather hear that, right? Be like, okay, what do you suggest, Beau? The cat collar. Get the flea cat collar. Absolutely. But back to this here. What I personally like about this thing, because there's a lot of water dispensers out there where you have to lug this thing up to belly button height and then tip the whole thing over and then put it down and it goes glug, 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 glug. You don't have to do that with this. You just look, see on the left right there, right underneath that very nice table. Ooh, is that a live edge table? Oh, that's nice. You simply drag it right from there. Barely even have to lift it 1 inch to get it into the bottom of that thing and connect it. That's it. Don't have to tip it upside down. Brilliant, huh? Right. So maybe that's why this is one of the top sellers right there. I don't know. But hey, another one that has been absolutely flying off the shelves for some really strange reason. Don't understand why. Maybe people are getting a little guilty being cooped up inside all summer. They want to get a 6-pack. This will help you do just that. You're probably looking at this Amazon listing wondering, what in the world does this actually look like put together in a real world home? So no, this is not a commercial. I'm not here to try to oversell you on anything. Just kind of show you some quick little feedback things nice and close up. So of course we're going to have to tighten that down like so, tighten that down like so, and now it will not rattle. So this Roman chair is incredibly versatile. Of course, you would probably be using this for a lot of ab type workout or also upper body for pull-ups. And so as you can see, it's very stable in this particular situation. You can do push-ups here, you can do pull-ups, you can do chin-ups, you can do ab crunches, leg lifts, all sorts of fantastic things. And this is what it looks like all put together. Isn't that convenient? That's so nice to see it put together. Yes, so there we go in a small little at-home gym. Matter of fact, it's so small you can see there's a little bit of an incline from the roof line. Yeah, so if you're one of those people who has an absolute ton of space in your bonus room for a gym, you probably don't need this. But for us common folk who don't have the most space for our workout equipment, this is wonderful because it gives you so much versatility when you are working out, and you can do push-ups, pull-ups, dips, ab crunches, you name it. I would recommend getting one of those large rubber bands if in fact you don't have the ability to do a full-blown pull-up, because some people need that little extra help to take weight off of you. And when you wrap that rubber band around the top rung and let it drip down, and then you put your knee kind of cradled in there, that rubber band is stretched and it kind of pulls up your weight, allowing you to do upwards of 10 to 20 pull-ups. And that's smart. That's good, because you don't want to just barely be able to do one and call it quits with your pull-up. You're not really building any muscle or stamina there. And if it's just too much weight to pull up, then offset that with some of those cool little rubber bands. Brilliant, huh? And they're very cheap here on Amazon. As a matter of fact, I'm not even tagging them in the carousel below because you can find them everywhere. You're welcome. Hey, let's, oh boy, what's next here? What's next? Oh, you know what? Oh boy, I have to find this right there. In the carousel down below, you'll see that there's, I reviewed an assault bike And that sounds very violent, I know, but it's a spinner fan bike. But this fan bike I just noticed was like half the price. And this is starting to outsell the assault bikes for some really strange reason, probably because it's half the price. But typically, if something is half the price, usually it's half the quality. I mean, for the most part. There are some overpriced things that, like Apple, for example, like, hey, come on, guys, do you really need to charge that much for your MacBook Pros right here? But they are stable. Not meaning to fanboy out, but they are stable. Yeah. All right. Okay. But you know what? We're going to come back to the assault bike in just a minute. For now, we're going to show you a weed puller. Oh, it's still selling. Do you even have weeds out in your lawn still? I mean, your whole lawn should be dead and dormant, right? I mean, mine is just like a big brown prickly piece of turf. Anyway, maybe some of you actually water your lawn. For me, I'm not only a cheapskate, but I'm lazy. I'm not going to go out and water my lawn. It can die. I hope that it comes back in the fall. Probably won't. All right, but what I did get rid of were all my weeds in my yard, and this is how I got rid of them.
We're gonna see if a child can do it. So first she has to identify exactly where the middle is. So let's lift this up and put it right in the middle. All right, go ahead and smash that down all the way, smash it down. Good job. Now the more you tilt, the more it pinches and closes like this. So she's gonna tilt it. Nice.
And let's see if there's a root. Bam.
Got a lot of root. Now how do you eject it? So cool. Let's
Amazing, huh? So I think the reason why this review has taken off is simply because I show a kid doing it. My kid. By the way, I do give my parental consent to her being on live video. Lawyer. So anyway, yeah, I am complying with all the rules and regulations of Amazon Live. There's a lot of them. But I wanted to show you guys how easy this is, and not just have an adult go out with, a big, strong, strapping man go out and do the weeding with this thing, but a kid can now go out and weed. So if you have grandchildren, say, hey, buddy, give you a nickel for every dandelion you rip out. And with this thing, it's an absolutely brilliant device. There's also one called like the Grandpa's weed puller, something like that. I don't know, but it's a much sketchier design, and I would not recommend it. I've seen people try to use it, and I'm glad that I bought the Fisker's weed puller right here because it is an absolute game changer. It's so much fun. I had iced tea in one hand and this in the other, and I went out and I ripped every single dandelion out of my lawn. I know. For all the bee lovers out there, you're going to get mad at me and say, oh, what about the bees? The bees have about 500,000 acres of untouched forest just south of us. So I don't feel bad for the bees. They've got plenty of stuff in our neck of the woods. They do. I do love bees. All right. Hey, I was promising something about this assault bike, wasn't I? Okay, yeah.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Beau.
So I'm out of breath. You don't actually have to listen to me right here. But this is fascinating. So what you're looking at right here is an assault bike that is like double, if not triple, of what you're seeing right here from Marcy Exercise, this upright bike right there. Now, full disclosure, if you can afford to buy an assault bike, get an assault bike. There is a reason why these professional gyms have these spinner bikes. They are solid. They are high quality. As you're going along, it's not shifting across the floor, And so some of these knockoff bikes, well, I don't want to say knockoff. They're not knockoff. They're their own brand. They're not trying to pilfer or pretend that they're an assault bike, but they are a legitimate fan spinner bike, and they work relatively well. It's just usually I have to do some aftermarket adjustments to them. So to use a previous example, when I'm pedaling on this thing, it does shift a little bit across the floor. As opposed to what you're seeing right here, this assault bike, it is solid. It does not shift anywhere. So I don't necessarily have to bolt it to the floor. If you have carpet, you probably won't shift across. We're talking about linoleum and hardwood floor here. But man, these fan assault bikes are absolutely killer. Just try doing it for 90 seconds and immediately your cardio is through the roof and you're looking at your heart rate going, is this dangerous? But it is just so cool to get your heart rate up. So yeah, I would say first get this, then a treadmill in that order. Or if you're a cheapskate like me, you can just go and run around the block. But this right here, I like to stay off the road. So just talking with a buddy of mine yesterday at church, and we were talking about road biking. And I don't know, the older I get, the more freaked out I get about other drivers. Maybe it's because I see more car wrecks, but there are some wacky people out there, and the last thing I want to do is put myself on the side of the road on a road bike. I don't know if some people have a death wish or something, but if I'm going to get exercise on a bicycle, I'm going to do it on a stationary bike. And if I'm going to go outdoors and get exercise, I'm going to do it on a trail somewhere away from 5,000 pound pieces of metal hurtling by me 6 feet away at 35 miles per hour. You know what I mean? If you actually stop to think about how crazy it is riding on the side of the road. And I've never had a bad experience with a crazy driver running me off the road, but man, I've had so many friends have that happen to them. And apparently they were riding on the other side of the white line. Everything was legal and they weren't getting in the way of traffic, but there's some wackos out there. I don't know about you, but man, I get a little freaked out. And if I'm going to do a spinner exercise, I'm going to do it inside. Hey, let's talk about drills here. Okay, so this press, this is so cool. All right, so I am an FFL. If you know what that means, then we can be friends. So as an FFL, I have to carve out certain items to be sold as a dealer, as a licensed dealer with the ATF. And this thing is absolutely magnificent. It was cheap. There are a lot of drill presses out there, and I thought for the longest time, I need to get the top of the line one. But for me, I follow Adam Savage's advice when it comes to tools. And if you're familiar with Adam Savage, he's one of the commentators and hosts on Mythbusters. And Adam Savage once said, when you buy tools, buy the cheapest possible tool. And then when that tool breaks, that is typically an indicator that you use that tool a lot. And so then once it breaks, go out and buy a high quality version of that tool. And so what that does is that prevents you from surrounding yourself with a bunch of expensive tools and you only use maybe 10% of them, right? So in the long run, it saves you money. For some people, they're like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm going to actually waste money. No, it saves you money in the long run. Plus, you have the luxury ultimately of having some really, really nice tools. And it kind of tells you can appreciate this tool because you've suffered through a bad tool. And so in this particular case, I bought this drill press because it was the cheapest one and one of the top rated here on Amazon. And I wanted to know, well, can I actually get away with one of the cheaper type tools? And I'm going to be honest with you, I only use this maybe once or twice a year. I'm actually quite thankful that I did not go to Home Depot or somewhere and get something that was 3 times the price of this thing. Otherwise, it would be sitting out there in the garage and I'd be kicking myself going, man, why did I drop all this money on this thing? Instead, I feel pretty good because it's very, very reasonably priced. Now, make note of the brand right there, Wen, W-E-N. I think it's an overseas company. And Wen also makes, wait, no, not that generator right there. Now, Wen is known to make products and tools that are just economical. They really, really are. So I wanted to provide to you guys 2 different options today when it comes to generators, because winter is coming up and odds are you're going to lose electricity. Odds are you have a freezer. Odds are there's expensive meat in that freezer. And you see where I'm going with this. When your electricity goes out, all of a sudden you're scrambling and being like, great, I got to go outside in the storm and try to start up my generator, if you even own one, and hook up my freezer. Well, initially I was going to get the Wen generator, but this is where I kind of there was an exception. Let's just say there was an exception to Adam Savage's rule of buying something cheap, because in an emergency situation, I don't want to risk having something break. You know, if it's a wrench, if it's a hammer that's super cheap and it breaks in the middle of a project, odds are that project is usually not life-threatening. It's usually, you know what I mean, a luxury type project where I'm tightening something in the car and I think to myself, wow, that cheap tool broke. I should go buy a nicer one. A generator does not fall into that same category, in my humble opinion. I wanted something that when you pull it one time, it starts up. And that is what the reputation of Honda is. And that is why I got this Honda generator. And so if in fact you're curious about the setup and everything, I won't walk through the entire thing, but I just wanted to show you a quick sample of my Honda generator right here. And it starts up in like 1 or 2 pulls, even after sitting out there dormant in the garage. And this thing is surprisingly quiet. I've been around some generators that really annoy the neighbors. You can tell the neighbors who do have the big honking ones that are like the size of a meat freezer. And you can hear them just echoing across the neighborhood when the electricity goes out. This, on the other hand, it's so quiet comparatively. It's so wonderful. And so it also has an economy mode. To me, it sounds like it's just about to die. It's like, so I call it my COVID generator. Too soon? Too soon. No, we can make these jokes. It's okay, you guys. All right. Let's open up the audio here and take a listen to what I'm doing.
Be sure not to overfill that. And I just used 10W30 oil. You can use 5W30 oil if you'd like. And then you're going to replace that panel. And then you're going to be inserting some gas into the gas tank. Just regular gas, that's what I did. Then you're gonna be rotating this little knob here on top so it says on, and then you're going to come down here, switch this on, at which point you're going to pull the pull cord. And of course, since I just put fresh gas in, it's basically an empty tank. It's never been primed at all. It's gonna take a few pulls, but eventually it will start.
Wait. Just a moment, past Beau. Just a moment, past Beau. I am going to correct you on this. That took 2 pulls to start up a fresh generator that has never been started up in its entire little measly existence. That's awesome. So I'm going to tell you right now, guys, when you're in the middle of the snowstorm and there you are and your wife says, hey, honey, I could really charge my phone right now, or all the produce is going bad and I just went shopping yesterday. I really wish we had some power for our refrigerator right now. Now you don't have to get online and quickly try to panicky buy a generator, because the rest of the United States is probably going to be doing that, because for some reason people don't do that. They don't anticipate the fact that you will probably lose power. Your electricity will go out at some point, if not multiple points this winter. It happens every year. Why are people surprised? Yeah, so anyway, I'm just saying, you can be an adult, you can save up for something like this, and it would be a very wise investment, and you will thank me for many, many winters to come. You will come back to this broadcast, this recording, and say, Beau, thank you for recommending that I got the Honda generator, because it purrs like a kitten. Oh, it's just so wonderful. Why are people surprised when things happen? You know, it's like, well, like for example, summertime right here, people are like, well, oh, there's a heat wave. There's a heat wave. It happens every year. It gets really hot. Well, no, it wasn't like this when I was young. Yes, it was. It's just we didn't sensationalize it as much. We were always plagued by the news telling us like, hey, it's record-breaking heat today. But anyway, I'm not going to slam the news too much because I already did that before. And okay, all right. I'm gonna ooh. Do you guys want to see me escape a building that's on fire? Of course you do. All right, there's me saying it works. Bam, there we go. This is a fire ladder. It is for some reason still one of my top sellers. I think it's because I put a lot of thought into this video, and a lot of people click on this video before they buy this thing. So there's the 2-story one, which is this one right here. There's the 3-story version as well, which goes down, you guessed it, an additional story. Surprise! But this one, I was surprised to see that it was, first of all, one-time use, similar to a fire extinguisher. And there are some other things that surprised me about this as well. So if you are looking for a fire ladder, be sure to watch this full video. It's relatively short, I would say less than 4 minutes long. And I talk about certain things, like for example, if you have a kid with really short arms, they might have a difficult time reaching that ripcord to pull that ladder so that it unfolds like an accordion. See, she's having a hard time. Me, I have long enough arms to pull that thing. So you might have to retrofit a few things because in the heat of an emergency, in the heat of a moment, get it, heat of the moment, when your house is on fire, the last thing you want to be doing is trying to learn how something works, and you're kind of surprised. Like, whoa, this fire ladder doesn't operate as I expected it to. So be sure to drill, drill, drill. And yes, even though it is a one-time use, you can meticulously put it back in order in the same way that you would pack a parachute. You would just have to do it very meticulously and very carefully. There we go. Yeah. And this was really, really good for my daughters right here. You can see they put it up there together, and I talked them through it, and then they hooked it. And then Lucy got down there, and then Penny got on top of her. And then I ran over to the window and grabbed her so she wouldn't fall out, because I'm a responsible parent and safety's within my top 10. There we go. All right. Boy, that was a fun broadcast. And so I want to thank everybody out there in Amazon Live land for following me. Well, maybe you're not just following my content, but you're following me personally, Beau, because I work a lot of anecdotes and commentary and fun stories into these videos that I film myself. I'm not getting other people's videos out there in commercials and just playing them and just watching them together with you. I don't like that. I'm a consumer myself. I want to actually see the footage that they have actually made. And so that's what I do. So I am broadcasting live from Seattle, Washington. Well, technically not Seattle. Seattle's a little yucky, but south of Seattle in a little town called Enumclaw. It's wonderful. I'm actually on city council. Tonight we have a city council meeting. I'm position number 2. And what I do is basically help them balance the budget and pick up weight, loose ends. Maybe I'm the public figure that gets lampooned because nobody likes politicians, such as me. I don't like them either. I don't like politics, which is maybe why I went into politics because I was like, no, I just want to serve people because Jesus has served me. Matter of fact, that was yesterday's sermon, 1 John. Oh yeah, we love because we have been loved. Brilliant, huh? I mean, you might think that's like a no-duh, but that is like absolutely revolutionary in Christianity compared to all the other world religions, is this concept of grace. Matter of fact, there's a funny story about a Harvard class, and they were debating and bickering, and they were talking about what makes Christianity unique compared to all the other religions of the world. And there was a fellow by the name of C.S. Lewis who wandered in because he was a professor there on tenure, and he was kind of listening in, and he said, well, what exactly are you guys talking about again? And they said, well, we're trying to figure out what makes Christianity unique, if anything, or is it just like all the other world's religions? And he just kind of said, oh, well, that's easy. It's grace. Grace. Interesting, huh? So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Proverbially, I mean, not actually literally, or else I might actually get in trouble. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you have enjoyed this live broadcast. Thank you so much. Hey, there we go. There's John from Maryland. Fear changes mind. Sensationalist Nation. Oh boy. Oh, we could talk about that. Yeah. John, I might have to have you tune into this live broadcast so we can actually chat back and forth, because you've been following me ever since the hills of Wenatchee, running through the sagebrush, huh? That is pretty darn cool. But anyway, I don't mean to go on too much. As promised, I had a wonderful time with you guys today. Remember, there's a 10% off on these tactical hair clips down below. You probably saw the video at the very beginning, which was so darn epic. Man, I just love that thing. This one right here that goes, wow. Whoa. Oh, it's just so upgraded, super top finish. World's most epic here. Oh man, that's just so cool. By the way, I was looking at some of this footage and I forget that I filmed some of this in Mexico. As a matter of fact, you can see a guy back there building a house. That's when we were on site building a house for a poor family there through YWAM, if you've ever heard of them. Really, really cool. For you East Coasters, you may actually go down to the Dominican Republic and build houses for poor people down there. Which I have recently been down to the DR to do some filming through my nonprofit film studio. And every time I go on some of these trips, yes, I take this tactical hair clip with me. And I've never, not once, had TSA confiscate this because it's not a knife. It's simply a hair clip. But it's kind of a multi-tool and it can do all sorts of goodies and it can do all sorts of fantastic stuff. Okay, that's it. All right. I've had just way too much fun with you guys. And I hope that you had a lot of fun too. There we go. Oh, that's just a plain background. That is lame. We got to change that right now. What can I do to change that? Let's drop some lights in there, shall we? There we go. Oh no. Oh, wrong lights. And there, oh, wait. There we go. There's layers to this thing. Layers. Like an onion. Quick, what movie reference is that? Like an onion. Layers. Uh-oh, now it's gone. Oh boy. Oh, that's because I have to loop it. Well, that's okay. I'll work on that later. But anyway, guys, I am so glad that you joined me this beautiful Monday, September 12th. And it is 5:33 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm going to go ahead and get a bow tie on. I am off to city council and run the city. I don't actually run the city. Oh boy, could you imagine if I did? You wouldn't vote for me. I hope you wouldn't. I'm just an eccentric guy who tries to tell it how it is. Good graces to you too, my friend John. Good graces to you as well. All right, that is it. Lovely chatting with you guys. And until next time, remember, you are so important because God has made you important and he loves you as well as I as well. That was too many as wells. I love you too. Catch you later.